Welcome back to the Talos of Tech podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't think it would be possible to top having MKBHD on the podcast, but I think I finally found a guest more popular, more well-known. We got the Mac Mini G4 Cube guy and Randy.
Just Randy. just the Model 3 Randy.
Daddy's
Randy
back, ladies and gentlemen.
For weeks.
I can assure you this will only happen every 3 years.
Every 3 years, we'll lose Randy for a little bit.
Yeah, as you can see, this is actually, as you can see, I can't. But this is I'm still using webcam quality here. Love the M1 for that. But also, this will be the last time you see me in a fake location, because this time next week, I don't even know what the day of the week is. This time next week, exactly this time next week, I will have movers dropping off my household goods in my new place.
Nice.
So I may not have my desk, but I will be filming on location. So
very nice.
Wonderful.
To be fair,
every week Randy's going to be in a different place. He'll be in like a sewer next week with like pipes in the back.
Hey guys,
on location, guys. Thanks.
So guys, about those new Apple Watch leaks, everything else is going to be something new.
He's in the sewers underneath Apple Park, looking at all the leaks.
Hey guys, so Apple testified today about the anti-competitive nature, and I can report back to let you know that it is baloney.
Baloney.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I missed you guys.
We missed you too. Oh my God. We tried so many different people to fill that Randy-shaped hole in our hearts. And no one could really do it.
Not even Marquez.
And not even Marquez.
Sorry, brother.
He tried.
We tried.
But
yeah.
I'm surprised you guys didn't find out that was going to happen.
Okay, I'm still a little miffed about that, Drew. I had to find out from Scott, who you'll remember from 2 weeks ago. Scott texted me at like 10 in the afternoon, like, why didn't you tell me you had MKBHD on the podcast? And I was doing life stuff. I was on vacation. I was like, what do you mean? And he sent me the YouTube video, and I saw the thumbnail, and I'm like, Drew, you little...
Yeah, no, Scott, that was not an us thing. That was a Drew thing. I had zero involvement in that.
There was so little. I took awkwardly long measures to make sure no one would find out. Like,
why?
I probably took it too far because I was surprised he was available. Basically, for those who don't know, I didn't.
Why would he not want to be on our show? Come on.
I didn't kick Nick and Randy off.
Yeah.
Nick told me he was going to be on a trip and he was not going to be available the following week. I knew Randy was traveling, so he wasn't available. So basically, we were deciding whether or not there should be an episode, if we should just take a break that week, or if I could find a guest that was not Nick or Randy. And I was like, I guess I should probably start asking people, who have we had on, who haven't we had on? And I was like, I haven't really engaged with Marquez for a while. So I sent him an email, the same email address I interviewed him with way back in 2017. And I'll be completely transparent. There have been times I've tried to contact him since then, and I never got a response. Not holding a grudge, no judgment. I'm sure he's busy. I'm shocked he was available last week. But basically, there had been several emails that never had any follow-ups in the past few years. And I was like, oh, okay, he's busy. Or maybe he hates me. I don't know. But then last week, I sent him an email, and I was like, hey, Marquez, it's been a while. Was curious if you'd like to come on. I'll be quick. I'll only take up an hour of your time. And within like an hour, he responded and was like, yeah, I'm down at this time. And it was like the next day. It was not
it was not
like
10th,
within a week or something.
Mine was really funny because we were all available on Monday.
I know for a fact Randy was not, because he called me about 10 minutes before I called Marquez. He was like, Randy called me from a supercharger out in Texas, and he was like, hey, are you going to be free in like an hour? Because I'm going to be at the Giga Texas factory. And I was like, I don't think so. I might have plans. And I was just I just decided, because Marquez surprised me with his availability, I wanted to surprise everybody that I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, because last time I basically told everybody about 2 weeks before the interview dropped, and it was like so much hype and so much hyping it up. Like, here it comes. And I was like, I want to play it cool. I want to play it chill, act like it's not a big deal. So
but it totally is.
I uploaded the video, and I made a custom thumbnail that specifically did not have Marquez in it, so that if you guys went on the podcast channel, you wouldn't find out before the video went public. Drew. It was a picture of Sam from iUpdate. So I was thinking, if you guys logged into the podcast channel, you'd be like, oh, Drew had Sam on, got it. And then go back
that's right, because I was just talking to Sam right now, and he didn't make any mention about being on the show. That was weird.
And at the last EV podcast, Randy never asked who we had on.
I assumed it was Nick.
So I didn't have to lie.
Yeah, because you said we already took care of it. You said plural people. You said we already took care of it. I was like, oh, it's probably Nick, and so I just kind of left it alone.
I'm Starlinking, I know.
Whatever.
I'll be back
came
in a
of
second.
came of that, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, Mr. Brownlee, that is quite the thing.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked. I was obviously pumped to see that, but yeah, it's kind of weird. I think Drew's Starlinking at the moment.
Yes, that's why we're talking film Did That Air?
Yeah, he might be talking over us. We have no idea.
He's probably no.
I'm back.
He knows better not to
when
talk
I Starlink,
over us.
I stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and we just filled the dead
Sorry.
air. Yeah. So he went from a couple years ago. He went from telling everybody to last week. He didn't even tell his producers.
I know. It's kind of blindsided.
I thought it would
but
be
you know
a
what?
pleasant
We'll get over
surprise.
it because you know what? I've been using the new iMac for a couple hours now, and I have some thoughts.
Oh, we got somebody better than
it for a
Marquez
couple
because he's got the cool color.
Totally. Marquez,
Nick,
suck it. I got the cool
before
color.
you get started, though, I do have a question for you. I want you to start doing what you got to do about the iMac. But that particular model you have there, is that the model you're going to keep?
I don't know, actually. To be honest, I've been watching some leaks and rumors about the 16-inch MacBook Pro, and I could not be more hyped about that computer.
That's a dangerous rabbit hole to go down.
No, honestly, no. Okay, so the thing is, I'm so satisfied with my Cube. Like, the Cube satisfies all of my needs. Every single one of them just completely satisfies. And
We have technology.
this is a little bit more of a
Watch the
spec'd out
movie
version.
Her.
Yeah. I
Yes.
see. That was an innuendo. Sorry.
We have technology. No, Nick, we are not cavemen. We have technology. All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Talk
anyway,
to
this
me,
is a little
Nick.
bit more spec'd out. It has a terabyte of internal storage and 16 gigs of RAM, which is originally what I was thinking I was going to want to use until the MacBook Pro comes out. But to be completely honest, I've been using my Cube more and more, and I'm like, I don't know if I really need 16 gigs of RAM right now, and I don't really know if I need the terabyte of internal storage. I just bought a NAS storage array, so I should have plenty of terabytes to go around. I won't have to play the whole little storage moving around game, which is kind of annoying. But all that to say, I'm going to be testing this for sure, putting it through all its paces, and I might keep it, I might not, I don't know. But this is
It looks beautiful.
Definitely,
But now it
computer.
doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
No,
here
look,
we go.
should we put it to sleep mode?
From-
There we go. We're gonna make it look even better, Drew. Your favorite version of computers right here. Sleep. Look at that.
Oh my
that's
God,
so
it's
beautiful.
gorgeous. Oh, Drew needs to go get the COVID shot now. He doesn't feel well.
You should think I'm getting vaccinated tomorrow.
We should probably record this on a Friday so you can have time to recover. There it is.
Yeah. using the
It's
using the Apple vaccine.
The white bezel vaccine.
With the white pencil.
The white pencil, yeah. So the chin is glossy, apparently.
Yes, the chin is a piece of glass. It's the same piece of glass that the display is. So there's no seam. It's just under the glass, which really is frustrating because it means they could have put literally any color under there, and they chose to have three different colors. Well, 4 if you count the white bezels, because you got this is the orange one, and I know with color grading and stuff,
I love
I'm
that
looking
angle.
at it right now. It looks red to me, pinky red, but it looks so orange in person. I'm gonna have to take some real pictures and tweet them. So follow
They
my
look
Twitter.
orange now.
The back is like the
On
perfect...
FaceTime, it looks very orange.
It does?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because OBS
Yeah.
it looks red, but yeah, I do see in the little FaceTime preview it looks orange. I don't know what's
It's
going
like
on.
Coral iPhone 10R again.
Exactly. It's like no one knows what color this is. But what I do love about this is it looks just like Space Shuttle's main tank orange, and this is why I got it, because it is exactly what I was looking for. Now, the thing that I'm not excited about is the accent metal color that they gave it. It is like
Whoa.
this fleshy, pinky...
You got the numeric.
I got the numeric. I always have numeric keyboards. I use
Beautiful.
the extra keys quite frequently. So I
Beautiful.
do need
Really?
the numeric.
Okay.
But it is like...
I don't like the numeric.
It is not the color of the back of the computer. It is like a salmon-y, fleshy
It's a different shade?
It is the shade of the stand, which is like 2 shades lighter than the back. So I don't know what's going on here, Apple. Like, you had one job, but it all doesn't match. And it honestly, so the line of sadness, or what did Drew call that? The black line of shame.
Black line of pain.
The black line of pain. That too. It really is extremely obvious. I was really hoping that with the laminated display, they'd figure out a way to not have a 2mm black line all the way around the
What's
screen.
that
Do
about?
we agree that in the renders it looks way thinner?
Way thinner. It looked almost invisible
I
in the
agree.
renders. Yeah.
What's going on with
Yeah.
this black line?
Oh, it's just the black line between the bezel and the screen, which
It's something white bezels have to put up with
I
because
hate it.
there's a
It's-
gap between the pixels and the bezel that has to be black. I can see it on the FaceTime, and the FaceTime
Yeah.
is not even very high quality.
Yeah.
But that's one of the reasons I'm a big black bezel fan is you don't see that line. It's just pixel and bezel. That's it.
Come on, Apple. Black bezels matter. Come on.
I still don't hate it, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
Interesting. You don't
I'm
like
probably right there with you, Randy. I mean, I'm gonna get used to it. I'm gonna use it for a
Sure.
couple weeks and see how it works.
No,
but
aesthetically, being an aesthetic snob as we are because we're Apple fanatics,
it. It's an iMac. Aesthetics matter.
aesthetics matter. Understanding that if this is some weird post 20-year like anniversary, hey, we're bringing colors back. I get it, but you know what it is? I know exactly. Nick ruined it for me. What do like?
Sorry.
like
Nick.
Dang it, Nick. Here's what's bothering about it. We have the technology to obviously make that better if they wanted to, and Nick is proof of that with the Cube. And if we could theoretically, he said that one of his projects he would have liked to be able crowdfund is doing the cinema display and making that work. We have the means to make that happen, and that. I don't hate it, but I don't like it, and that could be fixed if they would have had the Nick and Sweeney touch, so to say, about how you because Nick put aesthetics first, and with a big slab like that, if it's all a single pane of glass and all that, you have the real estate to work with to make all that work. Unless
so I don't hate the chin. Actually, I really don't. I actually kind of like the chin. I don't like the bezels. The white bezels should totally be black. I mean. In a professional model, I would like a all black, right? Like I think that everyone can agree. You know, all black is best.
I would not have hated the
professionals.
colors as much if there was just a black option at checkout.
Exactly, right? Like if like the iPhone 12 mini, you know, you get every color
that's the
rainbow
pro
plus
option
black.
later.
It's like exactly. That's what they're going to be selling you on. But they do need the bezel. I think some people have tweeted like just like little icons of how things look, and if you got rid of the notch on the iPhone, you're left with the most generic looking device ever. If you got rid of the chin on the iMac, you're left with like the most generic looking monitor. So
You're left with the Pro Display.
well, okay, sure, but the Pro Display is
Yeah, it's
not
true.
actually for sale
That's
anymore
very true.
because no one buys it. But
It is for sale. I'm looking at the icon right now. You were talking about it in the Mac section.
But it's like it needs the chin to be iconic and recognizable. Like you can look at the front of this even with the screen off, and you can be like, "Oh wow, that's an iMac." And
So
there's really
you're saying that big chin is intentional because it's iconic the way notches are
Exactly.
iconic, the way
Exactly.
white AirPods are
Exactly.
iconic.
Now the bezels.
I disagree,
look-
but you're welcome to believe.
Kind of bad in person, but I would say it would look really weird if there were black bezels on the colors that they got going on now. So I think the white bezels are fine, but they should have just had a black option, and 99% of people would have just bought the black iMac.
What they should have done is kept the iMac Pro. Discontinued the iMac Pro was the most. That's the wrong move. They should not have discontinued.
I wouldn't have minded it if the bigger size was going to be drastically different from the smaller size, but I don't think that's going to happen. I agree with Max Tech in saying that the larger iMac will probably look very similar to the 24-inch model. I don't think it'll be no chin, black bezel, everything. Like, I could be wrong, but I have never seen Apple diversify iMacs that much just in size.
Yeah.
Where they're like, this size looks like this size looks like this. I don't see that happening. And it's very weird that they discontinued the iMac Pro, because normally if they discontinue a category like that, it's not because it's about to get refreshed.
Yeah. No, the accessories broke my heart when they came out. All right, no more with the accessories. That broke my heart.
I'm so sad.
I'm still debating whether or not to run and pick up one of the last ones at Best Buy, because like that black keyboard looked so nice next to my black.
I look at
trackpad.
mine differently now.
But I know.
I'm like, wow.
I'm using the Touch ID sensor, and it's like I don't think I could live without this now.
Drew's looking at his keyboard as if the star is already dead, but it's still burning in the sky because it hasn't reached us yet. That's how he's looking at his keyboard. He's like, I'm looking at it differently. I know you're dead. It just hasn't reached me yet.
I know you're dead, but you're in front of me.
It hasn't reached you yet.
I think it's making me want to get more black accessories. Like, I used to be on the silver trend for a while, but now seeing the 24-inch iMac, I'm like, I want to get all black everything. I want to get space gray this, space gray that. I want to get graphite or whatever, the darkest color I can of every option.
Slate black.
But
every time I will throw ungodly amounts of money at that.
See, I don't think colors are a bad thing as long as you don't remove certain options. I think it's fine.
I mean, if we're gonna
But that's
go
what they're doing now.
retro, let's make the back transparent. The back of these guys is better than the front of these others. You know, like if we're gonna do it, let's do it.
That'd be kind of fun.
I agree.
There
It'd
should-
be interesting to see a 24-inch model with see-through back.
There's just nothing, and then just at the bottom
I
there's
feel-
like a small M1 chip.
I feel Apple knows that they knew that these colors were going to be the way they were. What I mean specifically is like right now, what we see on Nick's screen is the salmon part of it, the lighter tint, not the darker tint. And everybody unanimously, I from what I saw, and I also agree, take the darker color and put that on the front if we're going to have this be with the color. Show us the darker tint. They knew that that's the desirable color. I feel Apple knows it's such a non-issue that it just makes people like we're talking about it. And this is how we just build hype for these things now. And maybe not this coming year with the bigger size models, but the following year we'll start seeing darker elements introduced, because that's what they did with the iMacs even back then, 98, 99. And they did newer, darker, more not vibrant, but just they're more bolder colors. And it'll be cool to see that. But honestly, if I'm really being honest, I think this is all a gimmick in the sense that this is their way of introducing M1 to the masses with colors and stuff like that. The way we got people on iPhone XR with all the colors, it was their way of getting people over to the notch. I don't think this will actually stick around the same way. I think iMac or Mac in general with these stuff is going to have the same existence as with the iPhone of, hey, here's our new chip. Check out all these cool colors, and then they'll start refining it and making it more prestigious again, in the sense that, like, now let's give you the real stuff. I think this is just an introduction to, we have new chips, colors to go with it. Ooh, colors, we're all clickbaity now.
It's kind of a late introduction, though, at the same time.
I agree.
You can't you can't deny it doesn't make a good iJustine video though. I mean, all the colors.
That's how Apple should make all their decisions. How good of an iJustine video can we get out of this product?
Touche.
I didn't watch that one, actually.
Oh, you didn't?
Me neither.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
No.
Does she really have every color?
Marquez, because we're buds.
Yeah, she does.
Wait. They're buds now because, you know, he came on my show for an hour.
We're best friends.
Oh, yeah.
We talk all the time.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
I actually watched Your Average Consumer as well. But those were the only two. After two, I was like, I get it. All right.
Yeah.
Did
You don't watch
iJustine
my
have every
unboxing
color?
video. Yeah, I
did watch Nick's.
Oh, you did? So you watched 3. iJustine did
Wait,
have every
Nick, you
color.
put a
She
video?
had like an infinite. I
He
did a
live
live stream.
streamed.
Like,
He was live like
Second.
up until 1 minute before we started the FaceTime call. He was right on the time.
Oh.
yeah, it
My
was
goodness.
a pretty rushed unboxing, I would have to say. I definitely.
Don't worry, guys. I will be back in the norm shortly. That it's just not this week.
It's
I
quite
didn't
all right.
know.
I will forgive you this one.
It's not your fault.
Man.
No, it is. It's all your. Always
more
your
on
fault,
my
Randy,
end.
because you
It's
inspire
my-
everybody. That's why.
I'm so glad I inspired
Okay,
your
don't
forget
unboxing.
But something I got to say about the packaging here. This thing came in the world's
ahead.
largest box. We thought that the AirTags box was big. This box was
I
bigger.
did. Really? Was it like an inefficient box with a lot of empty
No, it wasn't
space?
inefficient per se, but the shipping box wasn't super inefficient, but I think, personally, the retail box was fairly inefficient. Like,
Boca balls.
this thing...
Oh, the actual Apple design box.
The actual Apple design box
Boca
felt
balls.
more inefficient because
Oh, wow.
the Apple iMac really fit where this kind of insert is. So you have like 2 inches on each side and then like 6 inches at the top where it's not really used. I don't know. And I know they use some stuff for like cushions and stuff to, you know, when they throw it around, but like from the people who...
I love throwing around my iMac box with an iMac in it.
I just set it down gently.
I'm going to try to hang it on my wall.
Ooh, that'd be kind of funny. Yeah.
So not efficient on the packaging.
I don't know.
I wonder
I was
why...
underwhelmed seeing how this thing is so thin. They could have, you know, made the packaging like...
They could have put a power brick in there for you.
Oh yeah, how's that power brick?
I love it. I haven't... Again, I've had this computer on for about 20 minutes now. Well, I guess we've been recording for 20 minutes, so 40 minutes now. But the Ethernet, I'm super pumped about having Ethernet down there because, as I said, I got a NAS and the whole house is wired up for 10 gigabit Ethernet, and I was kind of shocked that we had Cat 7 cables already. And so, anyway, it should all be beautiful and it should all work through Ethernet, and I shouldn't have to plug anything in. But I'm going to be experimenting with that in the next couple of days for sure. Because
Nice.
Okay.
if there's anything that makes for
That's
a clean
good.
Apple desk setup is just having one cable running to the back of your very minimally thin computer.
Yeah, but now you have 4 ports instead of 2. Aren't you upset, Mr.
Honestly, I
One port?
was, but that was the pre-order was this was probably the most stressful pre-order we've ever done, right? Drew?
Silly
like,
boy.
can we agree that this is probably the most stressful pre-order I've ever had? And I was just happy
iPhone
to
10
get
was
it.
worse for me personally,
Yeah.
but yeah, this one was
Really?
pretty bad.
I didn't pre-order that one. I got it in January. But
iPhone
yeah,
10
that-
was bad
this
because
bad.
the site went up and I couldn't. It wanted me to sign into my Verizon account and I didn't have all the info for it, so it was hectic. But go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Probably a 6 out of 10 so far. We'll see if it gets better. Maybe it will.
6. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not as
That's
big
pretty
as
down
my
the middle.
current display. I mean, the quality looks nice, and I can't see any pixels even though I'm inches away from it, which is nice. But I don't know. It's smaller. It has the line of pain.
What
and,
was your intent with the iMac?
This was going to be the holdover for. This is a good question, Randy. I have no idea. This was going to be the
State your
holdover until the 16-inch MacBook Pro, because
Gotcha.
I
And
am
what's
really
your
excited
intent with the
stopgap.
16-inch?
That one is going to allow me to do all of my work wherever I want. Because right now, the Cube is powerful and amazing and stuff, but I'm like glued to my desk for just 12 hours a day. And sometimes I get a little claustrophobic in
It's
here.
time for this week's segment of what does Nick have in his how many MacBooks, how many iMacs, how many iPads, how many Apple
What's the
Watches?
inventory?
What on the 21st? What are we working with today, Nick?
12-inch MacBook, M1 Cube Mac thing that I made, and then the 24-inch iMac. So
Okay,
yeah,
so the
three
other
Macs.
two don't count because those are your collector items. You're not getting rid of those. Those I don't count as your inventory.
Sure. But
be
I'm
honest.
using the Cube every day. And the intent of the Cube is to use it even when I get the MacBook. It'll be
I don't think you
render
will.
computer.
Once the M3 comes out, I'm sure you're going to sideline the Cube unless you swap out the chip
I
again
think
with
I'll
the
be
motherboard
swapping
for
parts
another.
out. Even if the
Oh,
M1X
okay. All right.
Mini comes out, I've been seeing leaks about that. I'm like, ooh, I could
Okay.
probably swap that out. It should be the
right.
same.
I'm
power
really
supply.
excited about that.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
That M1X
right.
is gonna scream, and that's the thing, right? Like Max Tech did a video about it. It's like iPhone
That's the
Hissgate, but on
sound of the
steroids.
M1X.
Hey, let's listen to when we boot it up. Boop, the Apple logo.
Anyway, yeah, but like all people have been talking about the M1X chip, and like I definitely have gotten used to the M1 chip, and the M1 chip, when I still think back on it, was still like an 8x improvement over any processing power that I was using before. So
Sure.
it's still an amazing chip, but I've just gotten used to waiting 15 seconds for a neural supersize engine thing to run in Pixelmator instead of 30 minutes like the old Macs used to take. And so I've now gotten used to that 15 seconds, and I'm like sitting there waiting for my 15-second render times, and it's like I want it to be faster. And so I'm very very much ready for the M1X. It'll be even better. Have you seen those leaks, Drew? Or Randy?
Yeah. 8 high performance cores, 2 efficiency cores, and then 16 or 32 GPU cores. M1 has 8 GPU cores.
Yeah.
So
and from 16 to 64 gigs of RAM.
Right, 64.
That's
I
crazy.
did not have any RAM issues, so I.
The only issue I had, or maybe I'm still experiencing. I don't know. I haven't tried it since, leaving California, but it was optimization for M1. It was the only issue, and that's third-party related. That's not even Apple related. It's getting these things optimized for it. So the M1 for me has been perfect for everything, and I can't imagine. Well, I could imagine it being better, but so much headspace. We will see Macs be as expected to be good in performance as we expect iPhones to just be as smooth and intuitive with its fluidity. I think we're going to have such outrageous numbers just for the sake of it, just being there for the future date or future-proof it with updates to come. But now, you guys explaining what the specs were for M1X, I can't even... It's not that I don't care. It's like I'm literally just hearing numbers now because it's like I can't even compare it to anything because I have not hit the headspace for the M1 yet, and I've pushed it with music and streaming and everything like that. Only issues was optimization for third party, nothing to do with the computer. If they stuck with M1 for another year or 2 years, I think we would be fine. And the fact that Apple's like, let's do more, let's get it going. Yes, let's do it. The only thing I want Apple to do that's not chip related is SD card reader. Give us some ports, legacy ports back. That's it.
So I have definitely hit the capacity of the M1 chip a couple times.
What did you do?
Me too.
Well, it's mostly dealing with multiple Final Cut projects at once.
Oh, silly boy.
Randy, we make videos.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm working on 2 or 3 videos at once. I got one exporting, one rendering, and one importing. And
that's not very
the projects are all
Nick.
open, and I'm switching between them in Final Cut. And it definitely slows down. And once I opened up Chrome to upload a video, and I got the out of RAM warning on my 8 gigabyte Mac, and that was the first time I'd ever seen that warning ever. And I was like, "What's going on here?" I quit Chrome, and it was just fine. But
there's a problem.
Open Chrome is the main issue there.
Dang it, Google!
Stupid Google sucking all my data into the RAM. It's just
again optimization.
For me, it comes down to export times. That's the main bottleneck.
Yep, same here.
Is M1 is fast. It's definitely a huge improvement over everything it's replaced, without question. But when it comes down to video editing, multiple videos a day, or even just a few videos a week, like Marquez was talking about, they just want to get the fastest possible machine running Mac OS at exporting. It's not all about real-time playback, although the M1's very good at that, and
totally.
I had no issues with the
Never
real-time
dropped a frame.
playback. But after a while, when you're just like, okay, I'm done with this video and I want it to get out and get exported at a high resolution, high frame rate as quickly as possible, that's where you're like, okay, how fast can you go? And there's always room for improvement until it's instant. And we're not going to get instant, I think, anytime soon, but who knows? Maybe with Apple Silicon.
We're working towards
it's
that,
not.
though.
It's right around the corner.
When you get instant, the next thing they do is transferability. So as soon as something becomes instant, it's now how can you make that lateral across the board for other things? And I think of examples of like, how cool would it be if you can airdrop something even quicker, or if that point feature was as intuitive as they promoted it to be, that this point it shoots it to you and it transfers these raw photos or these uncompressed videos, and that you get that same simultaneous transfer that happens between your so you film something on whatever for the sake of like say iPhone, and you just want to shoot, like, Drew, you do all your vlogs on with your phone, so put it over to your Mac real quick and you shoot and you drop it and it transfers all the data instantly, and you can get that type of speed laterally like there, and likewise exporting, and you have that instant. Once we get to a certain point of diminishing returns of speed, It's now how quickly can it move wirelessly, especially if everybody's hyped about the whole lossless audio thing. Now moving away from Bluetooth.
About that.
I'm so excited, guys. I'm so excited.
What are you gonna listen to it on?
Like you can't even use AirPods.
No, I'm going to future-proof. As a creator of it, I want to future-proof this thing about like making spatial and doing interactive music, so to say. I'm not even gonna keep it a secret. I'm gonna tell you a plan I have of mine, because if it doesn't work, it'll happen eventually. I want to introduce an element of doing spatial audio that when you're looking at something and something becomes the forefront of you listening to something, and when you turn your head and now it's over here, and now you're getting new information fed into like the right channel if you're looking this way. I want to be able to give you borderline different stories, so to say, at least different music happening simultaneously that you would not know unless you were meant to engage with your surroundings, because I would put different elements involved. And sneaking things in a single track like that, and if it's going to be lossless and it's going to be a lot of data, I want to convey a story on a single track. And I'm even thinking about just doing spoken word audio as well for Apple Music. So it might not even just be music, at least whether I'm capturing natural sounds outside in the elements with Earth, or just doing a voiceover and then I'm maybe doing something with the piano. I want to put you so immersed into this universe that I've always had in my head audibly that you have to move around to have the full experience. And if you stay still and you just listen to it, you'll still get the same experience if you're just listening to your car or whatever. But when you are in it, like in the Matrix, and you're walking around and moving your head, I want to reward you for that. I want to give you more information, more data. I'm so excited to play with that because it's breaking the fourth wall as much as I can, and almost going 4D in the sense that I can now give you more context to something. And it absolutely transcends music audio. Whoa. Imagine that.
Can we get that sound in Spatial?
Imagine that, but everywhere.
Everywhere.
So I want to transcend. Yeah, I want to transcend audio, and not just in music sense, but spoken word, just Easter eggs of stuff, like the ideas that immediately went through my head. I'm so excited for that. So it's not necessarily what you would get right now with lossless getting uncompressed, but utilizing spatial. I want to give spatial audio a purpose, because I did a survey earlier in the week asking who even uses it, and most people said they don't. And that's because it's untapped. I want to be a pioneer in it for Apple Music and tap that market, so you're rewarded for it. So I'm not thinking uncompressed. Uncompressed is uncompressed. We get that regardless eventually. If you want uncompressed, I'll give you the WAV file or the lossless file on my computer. There you go. I'm more focused on submersing you in something. That is really exciting to me. That's what got me hyped, was the spatial factor.
Gotcha. So you're more interested, I think, as an artist than as a Apple Music listener.
As an Apple Music listener, I don't think...
Wait, do you subscribe to Apple Music, Randy?
I'm on a family plan, yes.
Oh. Okay.
I'm not necessarily subscribed, but
Randy,
a family member.
Do you want to be family?
It's not my family account. I was added to somebody's.
I don't know I'm on it.
No, they sent me the link, but I mean, is that your way of? Do you want to marry me? We could do this.
I mean, no.
I think that's illegal.
I think that might
where
be.
you are.
We got to go to a Mormon
For Randy,
state.
it's illegal.
There, okay.
We can make it work.
Moving on.
Hey, Mormons are they made that stereotype, not me.
You're encouraging it.
Moving to the next subject. Are you going to upload future Randy tracks in 24-bit at 192 kilohertz? Or is that too high?
What's the difference?
It's not too high. Size.
File size.
I know size doesn't matter all that much, but what's the difference?
Quality.
It's more detailed.
Yeah.
Does it go deeper and is like more immersive?
It's like filming in HDR,
Okay.
Nick. It's
Okay.
That's a perfect.
Except for audio.
It's like filming in HDR. It's giving you everything raw. It's whatever you put into your Logic track is exactly how it's going to sound. There is, when you develop the ear, there is a difference from what you have in Logic to what you export. Even when you make it a lossless video, there is still a bit of compression that happens on the lossless video for audio. But if you change what Drew was talking about, the bitrate and all that loosens it all up. It all, there's always meant to be some type of compression when it just comes to data like that on the audio sense. Will I do it? Yes. How often will I do it? It remains to be seen. As long as it exists on the Logic, how long will I do it? Yes.
How often? Yes.
Yes. I will have a project, a Logic project, and that will be my canvas to experiment and play with. I will start small. I will make a very high file that might be 30 seconds, and a Randy track will probably, the first few or so to try it out will be experimental phases. But this is not the stuff I will send to Apple Music first, because there's other means that you can share spatial audio. I need a test group, a focus group of people to experiment this on first.
Focus group.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what kind of headphones and stuff do you have to have? Because I was reading an article that like no one's gonna actually be able to listen to this super high quality.
Not
stuff
Apple's.
on Apple stuff.
Nothing from Apple.
Evidently, that's going to change if Sam's information is to be accurate.
I don't. Okay, what was Sam's explanation? Because I talked it over with a bunch of audio people in the Discord, and they don't get it. They're confused.
I think most people are, including myself.
So ultimately, his source is coming either from the same guy or the one who's feeding it to Prosser, and basically they're going to utilize the dedicated chip, the W chip or the U chip, the Apple's dedicated chip that you can use for AirPlay. You can use that in short range, and that technology is going to give you the lossless experience, because Bluetooth naturally it's compressed by design. Bluetooth can't give it to you, but the Apple's dedicated chip can transfer data at the same rate. Evidently, it could, if that's to be true. We don't know, because we don't have that. We don't have access to that information. But
I don't think it is, personally. I could, my track record's terrible as is, so I don't really care. But from what I've read, if I end up being wrong, okay, great, I'm wrong. But from what I've read so far, I don't believe that those chips can magically turn into Wi-Fi. Like, you can't assign a MAC address over a firmware update. And also, I've been told that if you were to transfer that high a bit rate over wireless, it would nuke your battery, especially on something as small as an AirPod. And a lot of people were just saying devices like AirPods and AirPods Pro, their hardware is currently pretty maxed out with what they can output at AAC file format. So if you were to suddenly switch it to Apple lossless audio codec, you wouldn't hear a difference. It's the same reason they didn't bring lossless to the HomePod, even though those do have Wi-Fi chips in them. AirPods do not. But the HomePod Mini and the original HomePod have AirPlay connectivity, so if you wanted to, theoretically, you could stream a higher bitrate file to them, but Apple intentionally said, no, we're not bringing lossless to those. So I don't see them doing it to the AirPods with... I think there's maybe a chance they could provide a firmware update to AirPods Max so that when using a wired connection, you could maybe do lossless, but even that's a stretch, I think, because
Would that need to be
I don't
USB-C
understand why
to
they
Lightning
wouldn't.
or something like that, and not just the 3.5 jack?
I think it has something more to do with the internal. AirPods Max are built for
hold on,
AAC.
though. Could like theoretically, given the proper components on both sides of the system, could that kind of audio quality run over a standard 3.5 jack, or does that need to have like the 1/4-inch jack or something?
It could, but the AirPods Max doesn't have an analog input. It's Lightning only.
It would need to be digital.
So
3.5.
it has to be
possible.
converted to digital, and that's why Apple says AirPods Max doesn't support lossless, wired or wireless, because it has to convert that signal over to a digital one, because Apple went all in on Lightning. So I really like. I would love to be wrong here and just have everybody wake up and now all our AirPods sound better, but I just don't want to get expectations unrealistic, because I genuinely don't think that's what this is. I think it's just Apple trying to make sure they have feature equivalent to Spotify and Tidal and they saw they were getting lossless and stuff, so they're like, we have it too, but they don't
And
really
it's
have
free.
hardware to take advantage of. And it's free.
The wired approach in anything will always be more reliable, sustainable, and possible over wireless as it stands today. Ethernet, when you plug in, you will get faster speeds than if you're doing Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Audio is the same way in the sense that you, I mean, even if you're transferring data from your computer, from your camera to your computer, if you plug it in, it's going to move quicker than any type of anything wireless. But a headphone jack is the same thing. If you were asking me what would I use, I have dedicated studio monitors that perform lossless, and that's by design.
Right.
And that's why I've always wanted Apple to give me studio monitors, over-ear monitors. I want a genuine lossless option. I don't want it to be a dedicated loss. I just give me the option. The only option is you plug it in. I was expecting AirPods Max to have a wire. Technically they do, but it's not what we expected it to be. I don't know how it's possible to do it wirelessly, but at the same time, I'm not a technician in that realm and to understand how that's possible. So I'm an idiot when it comes to that stuff. I don't know. You say if you tell me it works because they sprinkled little magic beans on it, I'll believe you. I wouldn't know. I couldn't tell you. I just want it to work, but I do know wired will always beat wireless when it comes to audio, and AirPods Max should have
most things, video, audio,
all things. AirPods Max
AirDrop.
had
I love
the
airdropping
most.
with my lightning cable.
AirPods Max had the most opportunity. Like, it's definitely the most immersive when wearing it. But at the end of the day, it is still compressed. People mistaken compression as quiet. Turning up the volume still doesn't replace lossless because things will clip overall when you look at the waveform of it. You won't have every true open sound as if you were sitting there in a live room, which is why people can't beat concerts over watching a live video of a concert. You can't going to watch a play will beat watching a movie of the play. It's the same experience because our ears are picking up lossless, and that's something that everyone can identify and relate to. Like, seeing something in person is better than seeing a photo of it. When you take a photo of something and it doesn't capture the same look as what you're seeing with your eyes, all things that we experience in real life that's considered lossless is no exception when it comes to Apple's technology, so to say. I don't know how it will happen. I do have my doubts about AirPods Pro, AirPods Max, or anything going forward. I think the new AirPods that will come out post WWDC might have something proprietary.
that
maybe.
I could see.
But I don't think our stuff is going to work.
There.
Yeah, I don't think the stuff today is compatible. I think stuff post Dub will be compatible.
I think it'll be an upsell feature moving forward. I could see on future generation AirPods them being like, these do lossless. Your old AirPods suck now.
Because now you have a reason to
just
get rid of it,
decided.
because these are so good. Why would I want to upgrade my Air? That's how you push the sell, drive the new thing forward. That right there. Exactly.
Could slap a Wi-Fi card in there so that they could connect
gosh.
over AirPlay, because now they don't. But people seem to think they just magically will, because it's confusing. Apple uses AirPlay for multiple different things, which is why a lot of people are like, but when I connect to my AirPods with my Apple TV, it says you can connect via AirPlay.
Yeah.
Any Bluetooth headphones will show up in the AirPlay settings for the Apple TV. They're still being connected to your AirPod via Bluetooth, because that's the only connection protocol AirPods have is Bluetooth, whether it's AirPods Max or the base model. There's no secret. We've had teardowns. There's not like some secret Wi-Fi card they didn't take advantage of yet for no reason. There's not much sense in doing that. And there's modems in there, the 2.4 gigahertz modems, but they're not for Wi-Fi. They're Bluetooth modems.
Interesting.
And
they don't have a MAC address.
And there's no way that Apple could figure out a new Bluetooth standard, like a proprietary Bluetooth standard that allows that higher bit rate?
I mean, I guess it's...
I mean, I won't say it's impossible. I'm just very confused why they wouldn't have done it by now. If it would have been possible all those years ago, like a custom
They need
Bluetooth.
the power of the M1X chip to power the compression of
we need
this
the
new
M1
Bluetooth
in these
standard.
AirPods.
Every
But
AirPod will have
Bluetooth-
M1.
Yeah,
It's going to
with
be the
M1.
new 5G meme. M1, M1, M1,
Right.
M1, M1.
That's right.
Right. Well, I can at least confidently say I don't think it will come to all AirPods. Best case scenario, this comes to AirPods Max with a wired, but that's about it. I don't think.
Right.
I don't think there's a software update that can magically give AirPods lossless, regular AirPods, I mean, and AirPods Pro. For the same reason they didn't give lossless to HomePod Mini. That one totally has the hardware for it.
Yeah.
It has the Wi-Fi chip.
Yeah.
It does support AirPlay in the higher bit rate. But Apple just said, the speakers, it's a HomePod Mini. It's not going to be able to articulate a lossless signal
the
very
HomePod
well
Mini
anyway.
Pro Max XDR might have it.
Mini Pro. Yeah. Who knows why they didn't give it to the OG HomePod? I'm guessing it's just because that's discontinued.
It's an A
So they're
chip.
like,
We
why
don't
would
talk
we?
about that anymore.
Why would we advertise that our discontinued speaker can do new things?
I feel like the HomePod Mini has some secrets, though, in the sense that when I played Spotify over it and then I did Apple Music was extremely noticeably louder. And I was like, why is that a thing?
That's weird.
Yeah, very loud. I played the exact same song, and I was like, this is louder. Extremely louder at max volume. Weird.
Was it the same song?
Yep. Same song.
And maybe the file they uploaded to Spotify was quieter.
That's not how that would work.
That's not how
It's
that
just-
works.
it's
Drew.
one-
Come on.
I've had that happen where like a music video on YouTube Music sounded different from the Spotify file.
Then that's how that platform compresses it. Then in that sense, it's you have one distribution that shoots it out to all the different platforms, and then what they
Yeah.
do with that information is that. But it was the same file, but it just played differently. It played better on Apple Music on HomePod Mini, and which was the very very weird.
Spotify will bring that up in court, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Apple, you're being anti-competitive.
Our music's quieter. Dang it,
On
Apple.
HomePod Mini, how is this fair? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a very bizarre move, though.
What about the announcement of
I-
it? This kind of felt like out of left field.
It did. I think my best explanation for it is Spotify announced that they were going to be doing lossless and better audio quality in the future, and Apple just wanted to let people know that was also coming to Apple Music. So don't switch your subscription yet. Stay tuned. It's coming.
They didn't
I think
want
that was all the
Yeah.
logic was.
They didn't want what happened to AirTags happened to Apple Music, where then everybody starts releasing it before. No, we got right here. Here you go. Right here. It's right here. June. Wait a month. Just wait one
You mean
more
like
month.
the Galaxy tag?
Galaxy to everything, or even AirPower, and everybody brought out AirPower before AirPower. Still waiting.
All the AirPower knockoffs came out before AirPower did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apple's like, no, wait a minute. Before you go and start telling me you're canceling your subscription, here's why Apple One is still the best subscription plan. Boom.
Apple
Lost.
One.
Apple One. Use it, folks.
Need more lossless playback.
That's right.
I don't think I know I've tried it and I couldn't tell the difference. So I'm happy still not on Apple Music. I'll be fine. But
I think.
how about you, Nick?
I'm
You're a fake
gonna
Apple
stay
sheep.
off Apple Music for now. I mean, if Randy does something like super interesting with his music, literally the only way I can experience it is Apple Music. I'm gonna have to go bum some Apple Music off Randy's family members. But I'm not
And
paying
find
for it.
some headphones.
And
that'll work
I
with
forgot
it.
about that. Yeah, get the new headphones. No, I'm
Not
probably
from
not.
Apple.
I honestly don't notice audio all that much anyway, and we've had lots of conversations about this. But it's not my sting. It's kind of cool that Randy's all excited about it, and I'd love to see if I can notice a difference with like the turning your head and hearing different instruments and stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not.
No,
psyched
imagine you listen to an Audible, and when you turn your head, and
I
you
hear
turn your
Obama's
head.
voice in this ear even more.
No, you turn your head. Like you listen to Harry Potter, and then your
Harry what?
Professor Harry Potter. Never mind.
Oh, okay, Potter. Okay, I thought you said something else.
You turn your head and you hear "Kill the spare," or whatever from Voldemort right there, and it's like really creeped in your ear. You're like, oh, like it makes you go crazy. There's elements of like putting voices in your head. Literally would be cool if you can tuck it behind and have it feel like it's breathing down your neck.
Did you guys try spatial audio with movies and TV shows?
Oh,
I have tried it.
I do it all the time. I just leave it on.
Do you really? But
I wasn't
does it work?
Terribly impressed.
I don't think it's optimized for it.
Maybe, but I had my AirPods Max at a time, and I was editing a video, but I was also playing something. I think it was The Mandalorian on my iPad, and I was kind of glancing back and forth. I was like editing over here and then occasionally watching the show, and I kept moving my head back and forth, and I was like, well, it sounds like the show is coming to my left ear. But that's not what I want. I want it to just come from both, even if I'm not looking at it. I was like, I don't know. It feels like you're borrowing something from reality that isn't helpful. It's like
it's not optimized for it. That's right. And plus, also the
it's
drivers.
like if we put on augmented reality glasses, right, and then we could put pixels anywhere, and we could put a TV on a wall, and then the AR added a glare to that TV. It's like, yeah, that's more realistic, but it's not helpful. It's not letting it become more immersive to have a glare on a non-physical TV.
Yeah, that's poor optimization. I also think the drivers in the pros aren't that, like, they're good, but they're not great. These aren't the best noise canceling or the best transparency either. This is just okay, they're good. When you have something that's like using a VR headset that has the audio as well, that's where spatial audio comes from. It's a derivative from VR. And that is built for it, and you are immersed in it, and it helps you through gameplay when you're doing VR stuff, whether it's a first-person shooter or whatever. That you heavily rely on spatial audio to give you a sense of direction of where your enemy is at, so to say. So in that sense, it's built. Whereas AirPods Pro, they're not built for that. And the challenge, and it is a challenge, and that's why I accept it. My challenge is, how can I make something so mundane, for lack of a better word, like the drivers in AirPods Pro, how can I make it still work and give you the same thing? Where you're right, I don't want people to just turn their head and my music's only playing out of the right ear now. I want you to turn my head and something's happening behind
TV
you.
Thing.
Yeah. Let me give you something that is 360 view, where even if I could even take it a step further and you look up and there's something up and down, I want a blind person to be able to walk around in my world.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's deep.
I know. Daddy's back.
Well, I was curious if you guys caught the leaks about the Apple Watch redesign, because that's been talked about a bit. I know how I feel about, but I don't know how you guys feel. I haven't talked to you since that went up.
Go ahead.
Okay. I guess I'm going. Honestly, underwhelmed and apathetic about it. I'm using an Apple Watch Series 4 right now, and I literally only use it when I remember to use it. I don't use it at all. And people who share activity with me would know I'm not frequent on my Apple Watch. Just forget to pick it up one morning, and then I'm like, oh yeah, trying to unlock my phone with my mask on, and I'm like, wait a minute, oh yeah, I don't have a watch on. But
that's the only reason.
Pretty much the only one. The design is kind of on the boring scale, I guess, for me. The new leak design with the flat edges, whatever John Prosser was talking about. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. If they come out with that, I guess I'll get it to have a different color or a different shaped watch. But at the end of the day, I could kind of care less. And I honestly think it's kind of cool that the OLED screen actually does physically bend over the bend of the display. So if you get the right pixels on at the right point, you can actually like see it from the edge where you shouldn't be able to see it just because it's like bent over the curve. Yeah, see that? Yeah, it's kind of cool.
That is cool.
And the new watches don't look like they're going to do that. And so I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of sad. But I don't know. I care less. I'll probably end up getting one, but knowing how much watches depreciate, I'm also just like, maybe I should just hold on to this one for a couple more years because I'm literally not using it.
Nick is like, I don't care. It's boring. I'll get one. How is Randy?
That's perfectly put, Drew. I love that. This is stupid. It's boring. I don't care. I'll get one.
Drew, I'm just going to hire you to say all of my thoughts in more succinct forms.
I just like that mentality.
This is
it reminds
absolutely
me of,
ridiculous. You have no chance in making it in this industry. I'll buy one.
It was what's his name? The news guy from Spider-Man.
Oh,
Mr. Jameson.
John Jake.
Yeah.
He
I'll give
says
you 30 bucks.
300. That's outrageous. Done.
Mr. Jameson, I want a raise. What, are you serious? I love that guy.
Serious? Get out of my building. He's
Does anybody
every
care?
YouTuber.
I do, sir. Shut up. Get out.
He's every YouTuber reacting to Apple events. They see the price. That's outrageous. Done.
I love it. That's amazing. Yeah.
Crazy expensive. I'll take 5.
I'll take 5. What do I think? If all's true, I mean, my battery's dying. Unlike Nick, I use it quite frequently, and it's starting to show that I'm losing battery quicker every day now. I just put this on before we started. I'm at 81% right now. So
jeez,
I use
what did
my
you do?
battery health or like actual power in the watch right now?
power on the watch right now. But when we got started, like 5 minutes before we got started, it was at 100%. It just I use it for things. I have books downloaded onto it for when I want to walk outside and I do use my watch. I like my watch. But the downside of it is I am putting it through its paces and stuff like that. And it is a 3-year-old watch, you know.
Yeah.
For technology, it's ancient. The shelf life isn't meant to be forever, and I accept that for smartwatches. So in that sense, I will be in the market this year, just seeing how quickly it's depreciating. Not depreciating, that's not the word. How quickly the battery's depleting. But my thoughts on it, honestly, as trivial as it is, as long as the watch bands are transferable, I'll get over it. I don't care. I'm not going to use any of the new features. I don't give a I don't care about the features. I don't care about the. You know what I mean?
It's not about features.
It's not about those features.
The reason I was curious about you, Randy, was because you got the OG Apple Watch and basically held that until the Series 4 came out, because that was the redesign. There was finally a noticeable design change, and you felt no pull towards the 5 or 6, completely justified, in my opinion, because there wasn't any design. It was just feature. Here's a new health sensor. Here's an always-on display, and I don't think you care about always-on display. So the question for you becomes, would you rather get an SE, which is going to have a fresh, clean battery, but no always-on display, and you're used to that, or would you rather get the Series 7 with the updated squared-off design? Does that ecosystem symmetry matter?
I would probably have eco symmetry, and if I'm gonna upgrade, let's have some fun with it. Let's mix it up a bit.
So no SE.
I'm jealous of your red watch.
Ooh.
How much do you want for?
I'm not that jealous.
Not that jealous.
Because I'm very, very much into wanting my ecosystem to all match, and as soon as I saw the Series 7 design, there's little details in the rendering that I don't like, and I'm like, that's probably not going to happen. But the overall idea of there being a squared-off watch to match my iPad phone and potentially my Mac, I was like, ooh, I'm going to really hate my Series 6 if that comes out. All of a sudden, I'm just going to be like, you're round. You're curved.
You're disgusting. You're fat and round. Get rid of you.
And I'm gonna want to sell this and get the new one. But
the new iMac is thinner than you.
The new iMac. And I am not. I'm like you. I'm really not in it for features. Like, there's no rumored feature I've heard about that looks interesting to me. I'm somewhat interested in a thinner bezel, which is somewhat possible with a squared off design, kind of like how the iPhone 12 side bezel got a little bit thinner. Yeah. So if the watch bezel gets thinner and the watch itself is like a smaller footprint with the same size display, or it's a bigger display, either or, that is very tempting to me. But it's also a very selfish fashion-based purchase decision. It's not a function one. It's not
It
like
is
I
a
need this
watch,
for work.
man. Absolutely be selfish with fashion. It is a watch. That's what these things are meant for.
I would highly disagree with that. Like
2018 Drew would be all over Series 7.
Yeah.
2021 Drew is like, I could invest that.
Yeah,
I
stocks.
could turn that into something else. I
Right.
could
But
build some
also-
passive income.
At the same time, that we could say we could make that argument for anything where it's like, in the ecosystem, continuity matters for me, and I would like to have everything consistent across the board. And it just so happens that
That's why I don't want a chin or white bezels.
Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on. You're gonna get more hate on Twitter, and I can't wait to laugh at it. So. Yeah, Drew.
We'll all
Hate
be
me all
laughing
you
at
want.
it.
Anyway, so
Go ahead.
out of the colors that you think that like, would you want that green one?
No, I didn't like any of the colors. That was also bugging me. I didn't like the sky blue or the green.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's wrong with green?
Nothing. It's just not my color. That's a you color. That's your style. That's your shtick. I've never been a green. I've never looked at a green tech product and been like, ooh,
That's
I
it.
need that green one. I've never had that moment. But
I'm
I
eyeballing
had
the
that
green
with
iMac, where I'm just like,
The green iMac was like, that's not me. That is the opposite of everything I care about in a design.
Really?
But I remember reacting. The first words out of my mouth when the Midnight Green 11 Pro came out was, "That's for Randy."
Right here.
That was the first thing when they unveiled it on stage. It was like, and they had the animation. I was like, "Oh, that's Randy's phone." That's instantly what I thought of. I never
And
once
first-
was like, "I need that."
I went, there's my phone. I'm getting it.
Different strokes for different folks.
I'll
And
never
I
get rid
had
of this
that
phone.
moment with the red Apple Watch when they unveiled that. I was like, "Oh, that's my thing. I gotta
There's
have
Drew's
that."
watch.
And I did not have that with any blue tech product or blue Series 7 design. So I'd probably get either a space gray or a silver or something more neutral. Or if they still have product red, I might be interested in that. But I'm still not for sure if that's a responsible decision that I'm willing to commit to.
Apple
it's going
Watch-
to depend on what kind of deal I can get on my 6, I guess.
Apple Watch as a whole is so far ahead of everything else that, and Apple knows
yeah.
it. It's not that it's lost innovation. We've been saying it for a few years now, since arguably Series 4. It's like, well, what more can you do? Oxygen level. Ooh. Oh.
Blood
compass.
glucose. I'm kind of excited
Blood
about that, but other than that,
I feel that
That's
Apple
helpful
Watch.
for some, but not all.
Would you rather have? I know it doesn't matter because if the leaks are the leaks, but would you rather have the same design again for Series 7, and they just make enhancements to everything that we already have now, in the sense that even longer battery, you get 5-day battery or something, something outrageous. Everything about everything customized. Watch OS number, whatever we're on now, gives you customized wallpaper, customized faces, and it's just an enhancement of what we have now. Nothing technically new. Would you rather have that and stick with the design, or would you rather have the continuity of having thinner bezels, a squared off design, and minimal software or hardware because it's already kind of irrelevant for you? What do you guys think?
I do genuinely notice, and it kind of bugs me that the watch doesn't fit the design symmetry of my iPad and phone. So I think I'm more on the redesign department of, I mean, for my own selfish reasons, I hope they don't redesign it this year. That way I can justify not upgrading.
Yeah.
And then I'll have another year to, invest and be in a different spot and be like, oh, okay, I didn't get a watch last year. I'll get one this year. The fact that I just got this last year and now this redesign is coming up, and I do kind of notice redesigns very clearly. That's part of the reason I was like not super interested in upgrading to the 2020 iPad Pro or any new generation iMacs, was because they don't look that different. If I'm talking about something that I'm going to look at, whether it's on my wrist or at my desk, new iMacs from the front are not looking terribly different from my iMac Pro. They had the updates to the silver one. It's like, okay, the chin will be a different shade. and I'll get worse ports. With the Apple Watch, it's like, okay, the display will never turn off, but it's still rounded off. That's why I was like, yeah, Series 5, not for me, too similar to the 4. And the 6 was only because I got a good deal on the 4. So I was like, now that there's a redesign, I'm very, very tempted because I know it'll look different. And every time I check my watch, it's going to be old. That's not the new one. That doesn't fit the ecosystem. And now there's a solution. Right now, there's no solution. So I can't do anything about it. There's not a squared off watch I could switch to that fits in the ecosystem. So I keep thinking every year, like, they should, like, actually catch up to all the Android watches that can have a battery life of like 1 week or 2 weeks. But Apple has dominated the watch market with a pretty atrocious battery, and I don't think anyone has evidence that a watch with a week or 2 week battery would sell substantially better. So that's why I'm like, I mean, yeah, it would be nice, but is there proof that it would change much? It seems like Apple's doing great without the week-long battery. So imagine how great they would if they did, but
it's the same reason why
it's a priority.
I opted for long-range Model 3 because the week-long battery is just because I'm at a point now where 80%, I'm like, I'm noticing it. It's dying quick because now I'm at 79% just from when I.
What's your battery health at?
How do I check that?
Settings and then battery.
Okay.
And then there's a tab called battery health.
So
mine's at 100.
I would absolutely do a bigger battery just so that way I don't upgrade all the time.
85%.
Battery health. There you go.
You're on the bigger battery department.
Maximum capacity is 86%.
Wow. Man, I didn't realize it went down like that. Do you know what yours is at, Nick?
85.
Wow. Okay.
The guy before me really
that's
used his watch hard. I don't know why.
It's a beautiful. I mean, to its credit, I did get my money's worth out of it. I love the watch, and I do use it enough to where I'm putting it through the ringers. But if I'm gonna be 3 years later at 85%, I'd rather have a week-long battery. So by that time, it's more like a 3-day battery or a 2-day battery, and I don't have to stress about it. It's not because I don't want to charge it for a whole week. It's I don't want the. I'm now experiencing every week, multiple times within the week, my watch will die throughout the day. And I just accept it. I'm like, all right, now Nick used to walk around and just have it as an aesthetic piece, as an accessory, and it was dead. And I'm like, that's me now. It's just if I take this off right now, you're going to see a farmer's tan that's going to make everybody blush. But this is, like, that's what I'm working with. And I'm like, all right, well, I know.
Randy.
I know. Yeah. So, but what about you, Nick?
That's pretty noticeable.
Would you rather? Thanks. I worked really hard for it. Would you rather have updated design or updated specs, so to say, nothing new, just better specs?
Honestly, I could care less about the Apple Watch. I don't know. For me, at least, like, I was so hyped about the Apple Watch in 2015 when it came out. Like, the whole intro thing with Johnny, like, I couldn't have been more hyped. Series 2, couldn't have been more excited about Series 2 in 2017 or whenever that was. Couldn't have been more, or 2016. Couldn't have been more excited about Series 3 in 2017. Also couldn't have been more excited about Series 4. I was really pumped about Series 4, the new design. But then, like, after that, like, Series 5, Series 6, I could honestly care less. I've owned 2 Series 4 Apple Watches since, you know, the new ones have come out. Like, I don't see a reason to upgrade, and the reason why I don't want to upgrade is because I literally don't use my watch much anymore, and I don't think that's something that a new feature or new design is necessarily going to fix. However, if the new design is so noticeable enough that I'm going to get Apple sheep FOMO missing out syndrome of, you know,
what if it had a chin?
What if it had a chin and white bezels? I'd be all over this. I would be all over this.
And a notch.
Orange Apple Watch.
You know what? You sold me, Drew. It needs to have an orange. It needs to have an orange front and an orange chin, so we can have this beautiful.
That looks nice.
Everything.
That looks so cool.
I know.
How does it do that?
This is a screensaver. I've been thinking around.
I
with
love
it. This
it.
is like a legit
it is?
screensaver. Yeah.
So that's cool. I didn't know there was a screensaver for that.
It's kind of fun, but yeah.
That's so
cool.
Whoa. Okay. I'm just gonna watch this for a while.
I know. Yeah. So we're just gonna watch.
You guys
this now,
talk about whatever.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, what is that? Is that a different language?
Yeah.
That's hello.
You know how, like, when
I was like, Nick, it bugged out. It doesn't say hello.
That's a child trying to write hello. This is me trying to write hello. It looks like the Silent Hustler font.
That'd be cool if you could make one of those screensavers with the Apple Pencil on the iPad.
And have it say whatever you want.
Yeah, and it's like panning. Well, not
Like,
whatever you want. That might
You
be
suck,
text.
Nick.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's Randy's screensaver. Mine is like, subscribe to the Talos of Tech podcast and the fun Apple.
There you go.
Loopy font.
If it was like the Tailosive T
Might
drawing.
suck it, Nick.
I know what our next intro is going to be next year, Drew.
Oh, that's going to take a while.
Hey.
Jeez.
Hey.
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 Hi.
Hey.
All right, we're getting
All right.
distracted here.
So, last thing
very
I want to talk about
satisfying.
today, since we got about 5 minutes left anyway, I am torn, gentlemen. I think
Ooh.
I
Who's
want
tearing
an
you, Randy?
Get the Mac
Let me
Mini.
at him.
I think I want the M1 iPad, and I don't want to be wanting it.
Ooh, okay. We haven't
Which
even talked about this,
size?
huh? Yeah. Drew,
The
which one
M1
did you order?
iPad.
I said which size?
There's only one size.
No, there isn't.
No, there's
There's
You need
two.
an 11 or 12 inch.
M1? No, you only get the 12-inch M1.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Both are M1.
The 11-inch iPad Pro also got center stage in the M1.
Oh. Well, then the 12, the one with the display.
The display
one
is
that-
on the 12.
So you want the
Yeah.
mini LED iPad?
The one that matches my
Possibly.
accessory so I don't have to spend more money than I'm already feeling like I need to spend.
Because I say they'll both match your accessories technically.
Technically,
If you're
but
talking.
not comfortably.
Okay. Oh, your keyboard case, yeah,
Yes, sir.
for sure.
So
Talk about
for
the
me
So-
at least, I'm not going to be getting an iPad anytime soon. My sister's still borrowing my other one. I sold my 4th gen iPad that was a terabyte. We'll see what DubDub has, but if DubDub doesn't have something completely mind blowing, like think in
Oh,
the
dude.
vein of
It's coming.
using macOS and like
It's coming.
full Thunderbolt dock support with like, replacing my laptop, that's really the only thing that would get me super interested in an iPad at this
M1
point.
chip. I sense Final Cut and Logic. I can almost taste it.
I really hope so.
Dude,
Watch them not do it.
There's
this
so
year.
many bad ways it could go, though.
for sure, absolutely. But
Hopefully.
humor me for a second. We get the software
Okay.
that it is. It's safe to say we should all probably upgrade to M1.
I wouldn't say you need to for an iPad.
No? It depends on the software, okay? If the software is like mind-blowingly amazing come DubDub, then I'll be like, okay, yeah, I'll get it. My next iPad will have an M1 chip. But that sooner
But
or
the
later is kind of
display,
dependent on how exciting
Sweeney.
it is.
The bright, you get your XDR Retina liquid, whatever. Just
This is, I think, it hasn't arrived today yet at the time of recording this. By the time this airs, I will have had it. But this is by far, I think, going to be my favorite display from Apple. Because it's the high dynamic range, really
sir.
bright, and simultaneously 120 hertz.
It's
The
peanut
Pro
butter.
display doesn't even have that. So I get
Peanut
the high dynamic range, I get the great pixel density, and the high dynamic, everything put together. It's like, yeah, nothing can touch that. That's amazing. So I'm very excited to try it out. But I am going to help put a big dent in my iPad Pro purchase by selling my old iPad Pro. So if I cannot find a good deal on this iPad Pro and mini LED doesn't wow me, there's a chance I could send it back. There's also a chance if they announce like a bunch of cool stuff like Final Cut or macOS support for the iPad, something crazy, I might just return this one so I can get a bigger storage configuration.
Which one did you get?
But I'm the base model 128 because I'm anticipating we won't get Final Cut and macOS and all the great things I'm hoping for. But if I can still sell my old iPad for a decent amount, then I'm fine
Sure.
still keeping this one. But it depends. There's so much writing on this event, and they've spaced it just outside the return window.
On
Yes.
They know what
purpose.
they're doing.
That's why I
Yeah,
haven't
they-
ordered
If you
one.
file, if you file for a return on the last day, they give you a week. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Is I'll file for a return on like the 13th day, and then during that period, we'll watch Quadruple UDC, and I'll decide whether or not to go through with
What
sending
So-
it
day is
back.
DubDub?
But June 7th.
June 7th. Okay.
I'm so.
But they're pretty back ordered from what I've seen.
I'm so ready.
If you order
I'm so ready.
the iPad I ordered, it won't get here until June 30th.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I
So-
will obviously reserve judgment for after the keynote, but my prediction.
So why are you on the fence?
Because there's nothing wrong with this iPad. I love it. It's perfect. Saving money.
Same with mine. Yeah.
Yeah. But however, if the expectation is if we do get these pro applications now, and with the new updated software comes updated model, which becomes a subscription, and you can use Logic.
See, that would.
I have a feeling it's happening. I just have a feeling it's happening, and I've already accepted it. I've had a long time on the road, driving from one coast to the other to think about this, and I screamed, I kicked, I cried, and I've now accepted. I was like, if it happens, I mean, what are we gonna do? Not use it? It's part of the workflow. I can't not use it. Luma Fusion on iPad would be a thing, but it's no replacement to Final Cut. It's just Luma Fusion is amazing, but it's no replacement. So I already accepted that if they move to a subscription model and we lose our Final Cut, our Logic, or anything else for the next Mac OS update. If we do, I've already accepted it. We just got to rip the Band-Aid off, guys. But so where I'm at is that
That'll be heartbreaking if I'm like, I really want Final Cut on the iPad, and they're like, here's Final Cut on the iPad for $10 a month. I'll be like, no.
I would cry.
No.
Yeah.
So
think
do
I
you
would
think
cry,
they'll make
too.
it a native iPadOS app, or do you think the iPad's now going to be able to dual boot into some kind of macOS type, maybe reskinned or something?
I think the M1 will create one and the same, so to say. I think the skin, not the skin, but the way Apple Watch is an extension of iPhone, even though it's its own thing, it's still an extension. It can't exist without iPhone. I think that's what will happen. That's what I feel like would happen with iPadOS with an M1 chip, kind of needing to coexist with a Mac.
Hold on. Are you saying that they're going to rewrite iPadOS to look and feel a lot more like macOS, or are they going to have an app in iPadOS that launches macOS?
No, I think it's invert that. I think they rewrote macOS to feel like iPadOS. I think they already did that part with Big Sur, and now I think they're going to start unlocking features that coincide with the UI element that we got. And I feel like iPad will only get the proper natural spec bumps that we get every year. And what will happen is everything that is compatible with Big Sur now, or just macOS as a whole, that lets you boot up simulators that runs on iPhone and iPad. I think it's not just going to be a boot up anymore. I think you will have the same type of feature where you put something on the iPad and that gets pushed to you put something on the Mac, it gets pushed to the iPad. The way you put something on your phone, it gets pushed to the Apple Watch.
Okay.
Drew and I are having a staring competition, but he just Starlinked, so I don't know if I've won or not. But I really want to blink.
Okay, I have not blinked at all. Not the entire time.
You guys miss me yet?
Yes, we do.
I don't think they will let you dual boot macOS on the iPad, but I think they should. If they were to ask me for my advice, I would say it's a good idea. Make it exclusive to the M1. Say you can only do it with an M1
what's your advice?
iPad.
What's your advice? I'm asking for your advice.
If Apple asked me, I'd say there is a huge, never-ending trail of little tiny tweaks that people say, this is what I need a Mac for, that an iPad can't do. It's not one big thing. It's not like, Final Cut, okay, now I can get rid of my Mac. It's like, no, I need this one terminal command.
I need to be able to delete.
I want to edit the file manager, and I want resizable windows, and all of these little changes that everybody's talking about are not going to happen in a single iPadOS update. It's just not possible. They might add one or two things. They might be like, oh, we borrowed this from the Mac, or here's external webcam support, or here's resizable windows. But there's always going to be that one category of like, yeah, but I use these one Safari extensions that only work on the desktop version, doesn't work on. And that list is going to take year after year after year for Apple to just go down and be like, okay, it does this from the Mac now. Okay, it does this from the Mac now. I don't see them miraculously changing iPadOS in a single year to get every feature. Whereas if they were to just give up, I get that it's weird. Everyone's like, macOS for Mac, it can't go on iPad. iPadOS runs iPadOS. It has to be that way. I get that mindset, and I get that it's weird to say that macOS is now on an iPad, because doesn't that make the iPad a Mac? MaxiPad?
No.
You know, I think if they just gave up and decided to just dual boot or whatever, boot camp, whatever you want to call it, let the iPad, which has all the hardware necessary, it's got the M1, it's got Thunderbolt, it's got keyboard, it's got mouse, it's got a camera, it's got Face ID even, which the Macs don't have. It's got everything and more. If you were to just say, okay, boot it up into macOS now, you know, macOS can already automatically adjust to 4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah.
That doesn't require any retooling in the software. If they were to just give up and say, okay, macOS can boot on the iPad, all of that big laundry list of items people have would suddenly go away. It's like, it's macOS. Everything the Mac can do, now you can do on the iPad. It would solve so many problems and instantly make it a Mac replacement, kind of by joining the Mac line. It's like, if you can't beat them, join them. If iPadOS can't do everything macOS can, then just let the iPad run macOS. And I don't think
computer?
that will happen. What is a computer? I don't think Apple will do that. I think that they want to keep iPadOS as the only platform on there, but I do think that it would be in their benefit. I know a bunch of people have said that they don't want the iPad to get macOS because then MacBooks would start to become redundant and iPads would clearly win. I disagree, though, because
I disagree with that.
iPads are substantially more expensive than the MacBooks they'd be going up against. It's like, you're telling me that if they put macOS on the iPad, it would suddenly make MacBooks obsolete, even though the MacBook Air is $1,000, $900 for education, whereas the iPad Pro with the equal screen size is like $1,100 for 128 gig. It's $1,200 for 256. Then you have to get a keyboard case for $350. This is, if you,
Plus the Apple
it
Pencil.
would not kill off the MacBook line. If anything, it would get people to spend more on their notebooks, because now there's an Apple 2-in-1 available that can do everything a Mac can, but also has cellular, also has rear-facing cameras and LiDAR, also has Face ID, also has a touchscreen.
People won't be buying both an iPad for that price and a MacBook. They'll only be buying the iPad.
I don't think
for
there's
that price.
that many, though.
Lest we forget, iPad,
That's not as common.
iPad was always what we've seen, especially in the last couple of years, with hardware and software. iPad is the trial subject. It's the guinea pig for things. Putting a chip in there, I think, is them testing the waters of certain things that maybe we won't even see as a consumer on the final end, but what they're trying on the development side. I think iPad is always the guinea pig of things, with LiDAR, with the chip, with
Mini LED.
mini LED, everything.
120 hertz.
And 120 hertz, and now software as well with the same thing. I feel iPad, it will always be this weird hybrid child, not because it's going to supersede one or the other. It's because it's the safest one to kind of one shoes fits most type of a thing. So I that's why I don't think it's going to ever cannibalize sales on anything besides the obvious price factor that you were talking about. It's the
There's
fun
so much
product.
more to upsell people on with an iPad than a MacBook.
Yeah.
You sell
I
a
agree.
MacBook for like $1,000 or even $1,200, and all that you can really upsell a MacBook customer on is like a dongle. It's like, oh, you should get this adapter. But
Yeah.
with an iPad, it's like, okay, great. You spent $1,200 on an iPad. Now you got to get this $400 keyboard case. Now you got to buy this $130 Apple Pencil. Now you got to get a cellular option with LTE, and that costs more. Like, MacBook doesn't have all those upsells that the iPad does. So I don't think it cannibalizes anything.
I agree. So, anyway, I don't remember where we're going with that, but yeah, I want the M1 Mac or M1 iPad.
I think Apple's going to make the wrong decision, but I can make a very good court case as to why they should just let the iPad dual boot into macOS if the customer wants. I'm not saying default, like first time you turn it on, it's macOS. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying provide a backdoor option, like an accessibility thing, deep in settings, and maybe make it exclusive because, you know, macOS and iPadOS being on one SSD is probably going to take up space. You could even say you need the 1 terabyte model, even something like that. I'd be like, okay, close enough. Because
So
an iPad, that's how much? Let me find.
A terabyte?
An $1,800 iPad
$1,900?
without a $1,800 for 1 terabyte. That's before keyboard case and pencil. That's not going to be cannibalizing no MacBooks. Okay,
That's for darn sure.
that's going to be a $2,400 iPad purchase. If you just say, all right, if you're rich and you're the type of person that's okay spending over $2,000 on an iPad, we're okay with that market having macOS and iPadOS on a single device.
Yeah.
But we're not going to let a $300 iPad turn into a MacBook. I agree. That would cannibalize a bit if they were like, even the budget iPad has macOS now. It's like,
It would be such a
That would be
crappy
weird.
experience anyway.
yeah, it would. I agree.
Yeah.
But I'm very super interested to see how Apple does this incorrectly. But I've
do
convinced myself. Watching MKBHD's review, did you guys catch the one with the iPad where none of the apps were closing?
I didn't finish the video.
I didn't
every
even watch that
app.
video. I haven't.
He had the
watched anything.
16 gigs of RAM iPad, and every app he could open would stay open in the background. Like, even if he'd scroll back and go to the really, really old applications, they were still open.
Wow.
It was like an absurd amount of RAM, and I was like, why are they putting that much RAM just for the iPad? But I was thinking that recently because I was opening up really, really old apps in my iPad and they still weren't closing. And I was like, I've never had RAM issues with my iPad Pro, and it has 4 gigs. So
Doesn't the iPhone
there were some
have,
people
like,
telling
2
me in
or
this.
something like that? How many does the menus have? I think it's like
I think the phones have 4 now.
4. Okay. I remember for a while
think
there it
they
was
do.
like a 1, 1.5, 2,
Oh no,
something like that.
the Pros have 6.
6. Okay. All right.
The 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max have 6. I remember because everyone's like, Drew, the 12 Pro is worth it. You get the extra RAM. And I was like,
To do
it's
what
a
with?
phone.
What
What are you doing? But people were telling me, Drew, you should have bought the 1 terabyte model. It has 16 gigs of RAM. And I was like, I'll open like a 2-day old application on my iPad and it's still open. It's like, I don't know what everybody else is using. Maybe everybody else got Chrome or something. I don't have Chrome.
They're using Chrome on the iPad and just eating up all of the RAM.
Never had any issues with RAM on the iPad or the iPhone or my Mac. RAM has never been a problem, I've realized.
Yeah.
Never been editing anything and been like, oh, dang it.
I wish I had more RAM.
I've never thought that.
I
Never been in a
did
single
drive
situation.
in a RAM once, and I was like, I wish there was more. I wish there was more RAM in here. It was pretty cramped.
I'm thinking 128 gigs will probably be enough if I decide to, because I've thought about one day having a mobile video editing machine for when I go on vacation or I take trips and stuff, and I think LumaFusion will be enough for like vlogs. So the iPad could end up being my vlog machine where I take it on trips, I film stuff with my phone, and then while I'm on my vacations, I also edit off the iPad, and that way I don't need a MacBook. But when I'm home at my office and editing the high-end stuff, I have a big fancy Mac of some kind. There's 3 possibilities of what that could be, but
You hardly
I don't know what it's
use,
gonna be.
if ever, any B-roll for your vlogs. I think it's a very clean-cut process for you to do that stuff. I think LumaFusion would take care of you just fine.
I need to play around with LumaFusion more. I know Nick's intros he makes for Tech and EV. I'm curious if I can throw those in LumaFusion.
No, you couldn't back in the day because those are.
Have you
those
tried
are
it recently?
Those are alpha files. I haven't. I don't have an iPad at the moment.
Oh, right. That's right. I'll try it again.
Yeah, you
just
Send
to
me the
see.
file.
Let me know.
I'll put it on right now.
You
Do
have
it-
access
do it
to
live.
the
We're
file.
doing it
Send me,
live.
Randy.
Huh?
I'll send you a link.
Because I was like, if
Yeah,
I
I'll give it a
was
go.
doing more video editing off the iPad, then I could maybe justify more storage. But it's so expensive as it is.
I know. That's kind of why.
$1,100.
That's kind of why I just ended up getting a NAS array. I got like an 18 terabyte NAS, and network attached storage.
Jeez.
And I'm like, okay.
18?
Yeah, 18 terabytes. It was like $1,600 or so. But I'm like, all right.
My
for
God.
$1,600, I get
Nick, what
all
are
the
you
storage
investing in that we don't know about?
You know, you'll
What are you rendering?
Just
Real
suddenly have all
life?
this-
pretty much real life. No, I like.
You have so much money I
I've
don't know about.
Filled up.
He bought Bitcoin early.
I sure did.
He did. Wow.
Doge to the moon.
No, but
You're just like, I bought an ass.
I have this network attached storage. I haven't configured it all yet, but like then at this point now I'm going to be like, all right, I don't need to get a lot of storage like on all of the Macs. Like this 256 gigs I've been using on the Cube. I've been basically editing everything off of just an SSD that was just plugged in, and that's not ideal. And it's only 512 gigs, and like I'm filling those up after a few days of just, you know, even clearing the render files, like just the source files fill it up. So anyway, like at this point I'm like, all right, I'm going to bite the bullet now, and then I'll always have this storage, right? Because part of the problem when you get a Mac or an iPad or whatever, you're buying the 256, the terabyte, the 2 terabyte, the one that you need. But once you move away from that computer and onto another one, you lose that storage. You got to buy that storage again. And so
You're right.
I think it makes at least enough sense for me right now to get the storage that I can just kind of permanently have, and then get kind of base level, because I'll just be Etherneting into it and, you know, editing off the NAS. So
Is this an SSD?
No, it's a lot of hard drives, and it does have 2 NVMe terabyte sticks.
I was like, there's no way you
No.
got an 18 terabyte SSD.
No. So they're
price.
4 terabyte spinning disks plus 2 SSDs in a box that connects to the Ethernet network, and it's a network attached storage. But anyway, saving money down the road, because then I won't be getting the expensive
Live better.
ones. All that to say, yeah, then I'll just be able to get the base models.
Save money, live better. Home Depot.
Is that what it is? I was about to say
Was that Home
Target or
Depot?
something.
No,
Walmart.
Home Depot's is we'll help you build it or something like that, or we can help.
We'll help you build it.
No,
I think Home Depot's is you build it, you cheap F.
Wow.
Something like
Welcome to the
that.
end of the podcast, guys.
I think that's it. Yeah, I looked it up. That's it.
Okay.
That's official.
Welcome.
Build
But
it, you
either way,
lazy
I can't
piece
wait
of...
for my iPad to get here. I'm excited
I'm excited
because
for you too.
I kind of want to have that 120 hertz moment again with mini LED. I want to boot that up because we've been using my current iPad a lot lately when we like watch shows and different movies and stuff. And just because I know the mini LED one's out, I see the black pixels a little bit more now. I'll admit, before I didn't care. Now that I know a XDR iPad is coming, I'm like, ooh, you are kind of bright, aren't you? It's like, I can't wait to do it side by side. I'm like, let's try this. And I got Space Gray. So
Ooh, even better.
Welcome back to the dark side, my friend.
we got to take the Space Gray stuff we can while it lasts. I've got to hold on to it as close as I can.
Drew, the orange is way better. You get like the blinding color orange. Beautiful.
I like the animation, but I hate that border. I don't know how to feel. Ugh, that animation's so satisfying. It looks so much better on a black bezel chinless Mac. Oh well. Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. Marquez, come on the podcast. Again.
Air power is dead.
Pixel sucks.
Bye.
Oh yeah, the Pixel 6 leaks.
Oh yeah.
So terrible.
That's what
Bye.
cares about it. Bye.
Bye.